Bonjour, everybody. Unfortunately, Linda Eagle Speaker was not able to be here with us tonight, and I am by no means close to what she can or what she knows. She is an elder, a very well-respected elder that works with medicine in our communities. So I agreed to fill in. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what I know, the little bit of what I know. So I'm going to start with cedar, different ways to use cedar. So if you look at what was in your supply kit, you all had a jar, and inside of the jar is fresh cedar. This was freshly picked. It smells super good. This is the fresh cedar that you have in your jar. So ways that we use fresh cedar is we can use it for baths. We can put it in our bath water. We also wash our relatives when they move on with cedar water. We give them cedar baths. We use cedar for tea. The cedar tea, you want to use in moderation because it is a cleansing. It cleanses your body. So you don't want to do too much. And then you can also just like wipe yourself off, put a washcloth in and just, wipe yourself down with cedar water. And then when your cedar dries, so like this is right here, this is the fresh cedar. It's moist. And then this I have here is dry cedar. And the way you know this is dry cedar, it just crumbles really easy. So tonight, I'm gonna start this teapot. So just pretend this is a pot on your stove. So I'm gonna make some cedar water. The first thing the first thing we do when we pick cedar, we always offer our tobacco. And we always talk to the plant and ask or talk to the plant, ask the plant to help with what it is we need. And then just out of appreciation, we do that. So when I boil cedar on my stove and I know it's for going to be used for a type of medicinal purpose, I will take my kinnikinnick, my tobacco, and I always offer that to that each direction. Wabanung, Jawanung, Gigabianung, Giwadanung, Ishpamin, Akin. Then I'll just go around and then I'll start my water. This is kind of loud. I was trying to get it to boil before we started, but once we'll just wait for the water to boil. So if you have a pan, please don't let it distract you or not allow you to make cedar water if you don't have a certain type of pan. Preferably is porcelain, but that's okay if you don't have one, still use it. It's really all about intention. So once your water starts boiling, comes to a boil, if I were to use this much water, can everyone see how much water is in there? If I were to use this much water, I would probably put in, this is gonna make a mess, probably about, and when I do this, I use the branch and all. I don't pick it apart. If I do see like berries on it, I will pick them off. Those little brown things, I'll pick those off. But I would probably use about this much cedar. And right now during the winter, our winter is really funky. It gets cold and warm and hot and cold and freezing, whatever. But so there's a lot of illnesses out there. And um it's really important, like for me in my home, that I do this regularly. I would say I probably do this every other week. I boil a pot of cedar water and I just let it boil. So once you put the water's boiling, let's just say this water's boiling. I would put the cedar into the water, the boiling water, and it's going to make a mess because it's dry cedar. You can use either fresh or dry. They both work. And then you just let it boil and you let it boil and let it boil and you just really appreciate the vaporization. And every once in a while, I'll go up to the stove and I'll just kind of steam my head. Or sometimes I'll even pick up the pan with hot pads and I'll bring it around the house. It's really good for purification. It cleans out the air of any kind of toxins. So cedar is really a purification medicine. And then once it gets down, because it's evaporating, I just continue to add water. And also I use filtered water. I don't use tap water. Filtered water is pure and so is our medicines. And then I'll just put that in there. And after I lay my tobacco out, I'll talk to it and I'll tell it what I'm using it for, and just thank it. You can already smell that. It smells really, really good. So it's really important to try to do this, especially when it's like flu and cold season. It's a really good time to do that. And right now is a perfect time for that. So that is one way that we use cedar. So if you want to boil it and use it for a bath, you could probably just stop it now and let it sit for probably, I don't know, a good half hour, and then add it to your bath water. When you take a cedar bath, it doesn't mean that your whole bathtub is full of cedar water. You're just adding some cedar water to your bath. And right now it's boiling. So you could just shut it off and then just let it steep, for a long time, and you'll see that it changes color, so you can add it to your bath. If you wanted to, it's really good for grieving as well. So like right now I am grieving. So after a while I would take a washcloth, and usually a white washcloth, and put it in the cedar water, and then drain it, wring my washcloth out and just kind of wipe myself down, my head and my body all the way down. You can use it for that as well. And right now it's good for tea as well. You could just pour yourself some tea after it's steeped for like 5-10 minutes. So those are some ways that we use cedar water. The other thing that we use cedar for is this. I made a little miniature one. Most natives have these in their homes. It is a little cedar bundle. And what I do is I bundle it and then I put a little prayer tie on it. And I just ask that the spirits watch over our home. And then I'll hang it over our door. If you have a front and back door, you hang it over there. And what this does is it, anything that comes into your home that's carrying negativity, toxins, et cetera, it just helps that stay behind the door, not come into your home. So these are ways you can just make this. And what I did is I just took a bunch of these loose leaf ones, put them together, tied it, and then I just did a little prayer tie. And usually with the prayer tie, I use red when I'm asking for any kind of help. Of course, our traditional tobacco, red willow. So that's one way you use cedar as well. And then another way is our dry cedar. So if you have what's it called, a grinding stone bowl, I do that sometimes, but I've noticed a lot of people today use a good old-fashioned coffee grinder to grind cedar or other medicines. So all you do is, this is a coffee grinder. I have this at home, so I use it, and then I'll take my dry cedar. But you don't want to put the branches in there because you don't want the branches. You just want to take the leaves and put them in there. I'll just put some of this in there. And put it in there, and then you'll grind it up just for a little bit. No, this is not my grinder, so I'm not too familiar with it. Not working. Okay. Okay. And you can see that this actually came out as a fine powder. You see that? It smells so good. This you can use and put in your shoe. A lot of times we'll put cedar in our shoes when we're around like public powwows. I don't know if you're just feeling like you need some protection, I guess. Put some of this in our shoes. You can also use that for a smudge. So I have a smudge with just sage here. And what I'll do with my sage ball is I'll just make a little hole in it, and then I'll add the powder cedar to it, and then I'll light it. And this helps too with grieving. It also helps like if there is like you sense spirits around, if it's not such a good spirit you're sensing, you can use it for that. And those are the things that I've been taught about ways to smudge. I also heard from a Lakota person that they burn it at their Sundance as well. I don't know a whole lot about that, but cedar is used by many, most of our tribes for very similar reasons. And that smells really good as well. So I think those are the things that I know. I mean, those are the things that I know. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. But cedar is found anywhere around here, around the cities. I like to go outside of the cities where there's not so much pollution or toxins, and pick my cedar. I always use my tobacco first, and then I use clippers, and then don't cut a whole tree down, just clip as much as you need, or if you need to give some away and share, that's great. And that's found all over here, and this is known as flat cedar. And then also flat cedar has a shiny side and a dull side, and there's different uses for that as well. So that's what I know. Is there any questions? It's a flat cedar, yeah. I don't know about other cedars. This is I've been only taught about the flat cedar, and it's probably because I'm from northern Minnesota, southern Canada. So that's always what we use. But I'm sure there's uses for other types of cedar. I just don't know what those are. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? I don't have my glasses, so I obviously can't see the chat.
So when you're making the tie, the tobacco tie to put on top of the cedar, is it necessary to use white string?
No, you can use whatever color you want. Usually I'll use red, or I'll just use like a sinew or a twine to tie
Oh,
it. I just
okay,
use red
so when you hang it inside or outside?
inside
In
above your door. Yep.
Okay. Let me
Yep. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, well, miigwech, and let's put our thoughts and prayers out to our elder Linda Eagle speaker. And that's all I have. Miigwech, meet you. Be well, man.
Miigwech, Cheryl Secola. Thank you so much for all those teachings.